What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches, back with another video, and today we are going to be doing a detailed tutorial on how I got this really pretty lace full set. Okay, these two friends did come together. I showed the aura nails the other day, and so this is what we're going to be focused on. So this is the inspiration picture that Miss Amelia brought to me, and I was like, Amelia, girl, what's going on with this? What about this do we like? You know, obviously when someone brings you an inspo pic that maybe is not the best per se, like maybe the shape is not the best or the neatness, whatever it is about it, you can ignore that and just look at it for what it is. So from what that set was, I asked her, okay, I'm assuming you want a nude base. She said yes. I said, do you want all of this lace or is it the bows? What is it about it? She said all of it. I said okay. So I was asking her, okay, since she said she wanted pearls instead of bling in the middle, I said, you want iridescent or regular? She wanted the regular one. I did also show her some bows and things that I thought she would like, but she wanted to pretty much stick more so close to this inspiration. So it's taken me some time to put this video out, also because I haven't been feeling well the past couple days. So I decided to redo the voiceover just because my energy level was so low. Those of you who know, I suffer from really, really bad periods and stuff. So being at work with low energy and just trying to get it just felt too rushed. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to go ahead and glue the pearls on. This particular type of set is very multi-stepped, which means we have to figure out what order of operations is going to make the most sense for what we're doing. Now, some people do like to glue their charms and stuff on top and use different gels or like Azule glue bling and stuff on the top coat. I always say never glue on top of top coat, because if the top coat peels, well, then you're kind of screwed, you know? So if you find that your bling pops off, that might be why. So we decided to go with the smallest size because she already has smaller fingers. So we want to just make sure that we have space to do everything. So this is going to be nice and even because we're comparing. Yeah, so you just want to make sure everything is nice and even. I'm flipping the hand around and comparing it to other fingers. That's step one. Okay, so next, you guys are going to watch me basically F up until I get it right. I have never done this design ever in my life. Obviously, I have done an outline nail, but as far as the lace detailing, drawing bows, I've never done. You guys know I tend to go for thicker, bolder looks, but this is not a look that I can necessarily make thick and bold. Although I did make it, you know, put my own style and spin on it, I would say, I guess, as far as this style goes, just as far as, you know, with the shaping and I don't know. Yeah, anyway. So first of all, I started out thinking like, okay, we're going to do this outline, right? And we're basically just going to do everything that's outlined in white. That's what we're going to go ahead and do. Okay. The pearls are all set. And so that's all we have to do. By the way, these nail art brushes are from Not Polished. I do have a coupon code. If you guys notice, I'm trying a different format today. Instead of shoving everything down your throat in the first 30 seconds, hey, I'm just gonna get it in where I can fit it in, okay? So use my coupon code Peaches if you want to go ahead and save some money off, okay? I'm using the Fine Lines brush, and this brush right here that I'm using to clean up, it is the one side is a 3D brush and the other side is like ombre or gel brush or something like that. So I am going ahead and just doing a standard outline. Normally this is fine, it doesn't take too long, but because I am keeping in mind we got pearls in the center, we have designs to make, you know, so I'm trying to be mindful of that. Now what you guys are going to see me do on the next time that I do this outline, see how I'm already doing these pointed pieces? I would say do not try and do all this right now, because the more moving parts we have, basically the more wet stuff we have all over the place, the higher the chance something is going to smear or dry incorrectly. So this is what I'm doing now, but just for reference, this is not the most efficient. I have found this is not the most efficient way to do this, because keep in mind, now this set, it did take me about 2.5 hours. It could have been quicker. Well, I know what to do now, but you know, one hand is short because number one, she wanted to be working on her car, and number two, Miss Mama is a very freaky gal. So multi-purpose, okay? That's why we're not doing anything with that hand. But for this particular hand, it did take quite a bit for me to figure out exactly what I'm doing. So you can see, polish spreads, things happen, designs can move around and change. So you see, I'm fixing a lot of things already, and that's taking a lot of time. So again, I would not do all of this polishing right up front. Okay. I know it seems like the best way, but it's not. Because her fingers are small, because I did the little pointed arrow areas first, what I found is it made it almost impossible for me to nicely draw a bow that would fit with the same like shape and size as what I ended up drawing. So that's why we decided like, oh, we just won't do a bow on that finger because it's not fitting. Had I waited to do these pointed pieces, they would have fit. I'm now realizing we probably could have fit them a little, probably could. But every finger is a learning process. Every finger should be better. Okay, so then what I did do that was smart was I dried everything for a couple of seconds and I went around the cuticle area. Because you guys, the cuticle area, however you lay that acrylic, that is what you are following for designs and patterns. So if you laid it pretty sloppy, or if you filed away too much or anything like that, it's going to show, hey, what does your cuticle area really look like? You get what I'm saying? So also because of apex and stuff, I would suggest do this on its own section, because you don't want polish spilling to the cuticles and all that. So boom, cure it for just literally 3 to 5, I would say 5 seconds. Because if you cure it too quickly and bring it out, sometimes it makes the polish buckle. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the lace loops. So basically all this is a bunch of little half circles. Now, this day I learned different ways to kind of hold and use my brush. I was kind of frustrated at first, all right? I needed to take a break after a couple of loops, and I need to go ahead and eat a Rice Krispies and then get back to it. But I got it done. Okay, so second finger. You already see what I did this time is get the outline done only on the edges and then go around the cuticle area. Now, I would say the way my outline is, you can make it, I would say mine is like medium thickness. You can make it as thick or thin as you want to. Just keep in mind, once again, we have other stuff to draw on this nail. So I got smart. I did the outline first on the sides and the tip, cured it for about 5 seconds, and then I went ahead and did the cuticle area. Now, the reason why this is better than the last is, as you can see, everything is pretty much dry. So I can fix anything I need to fix. I can adjust things. You see how I'm rounding out everything so nothing looks boxy. We want this to look delicate and feminine and dainty. So that's what I'm able to do, is fix anything that went wrong. So now we're speeding it up because, look, it took a lot of attempts. But what I ended up doing next, instead of drawing those pointed areas, I went ahead to draw the bow. Now, the thing about it is, this is a very easy shape to do. It looks weird because it looks like, am I doing this right? But what really matters is you want to get all of the bows the same, pretty much the same size and the same general shape. So if you have the bow loops pointed upwards, you want to make sure they're all going upwards. If you have them more floppy-ish to the side, you want to make sure the other ones are too. So the technique I did end up using that worked is, you can see I'm basically using the pearl in the middle to act as like where it's going to close, and I pretty much do one half of the loop and do the other half of the loop, starting from the pearl and looping it. That actually does work best for me. Now, what was hard for me is the other half. You see on the left side, I do have to hold my hand kind of like that, but you can see how it's, stuff is not, it's not going right. Don't get frustrated. This part is hard. All right. Do what you can. And when you find a loop that you like, what I ended up doing after I got so damn frustrated, I was like, look, I'm going to keep what I like and I'm going to match everything else to it. Now, the bottom pieces, literally just a flick of the wrist. Now, you can make these, the bottom ribbon parts as flowy or as small as you want. Like I said, we were kind of going with more of the inspo. When I do my bows now, I kind of take a little bit more liberties with it. But again, I had never done this before, so I was like, you know what? Let me play it a little bit safe for now. So, honestly, don't feel bad if this is taking you a while. It took me a while to figure out the ratio of polish that I like, to figure out what do I like the middle to look like. You know what I'm saying? What shape do I like? Because right now it's giving cops and robbers cat burglar mask, and that's not what we were going for. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Baby, this is looking like handcuffs. So I just kept going over and over and over and over, and you guys will see eventually I just gave up and was like, we're moving on and we'll match it later. So from what you can see, as I go on from each nail, it gets better, easier. So after this nail, when it comes to the outline, I ended up doing the other 3. I outlined all 3, and then I cured it, and then did all 3 cuticles, cured it, and then did all the bows on like, you know, one bow on each, cured it. So the process ended up speeding up significantly. It's just when you're learning a new style, you got to go with the flow. You guys know I don't particularly care about practicing stuff before I get a client, because practicing stuff on a mannequin hand sometimes or whatever it is, it's just not realistic into the issues that a client might bring, such as moving a lot or the shape or size of their nails, you know, things like that can take into account. So for me, I pretty much just go ahead and use the clients as practice. So as I'm doing this, I'm discovering exactly how I like the bows to sit, what techniques that I like to do these flicking motions. And I use this flick motion when I'm doing like, you know, OG nail art, 90s type styles and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. So here we go. Next hand. Oh, just kidding. Ha. So now we're doing the triangular pieces. Now the reason why we waited to do them at the end is because we had to fit those bows in the middle. And if I wanted to fit everything nicely without looking squished, we got to do it in baby steps, okay? So as you can see, because everything else is cured, and the more times you keep curing something, right, that means the very first outline we did is pretty much almost completely dry. So every time we cure something, anything else gets completely dry pretty much over time. So with these pointed pieces, I pretty much made a triangular shape. Not too rigid of a triangle, because I did want to smooth out the edges. You see I'm smoothing out the edges so that way it can round out. And then I would take my brush, and I wanted the part closest to the bow, the actual tip part, to be thin, so that way it didn't look too clunky or anything, because again, this is supposed to look like lace. Okay, so you can see one, and then the other side, I tried to get it as even with that pearl in the middle as possible, and also as symmetrical with whatever else was there already. So this is something that didn't take as much time as I thought it would, but it definitely does take a little bit of time if you're not careful. So like I said, with the rest of the three, each step I pretty much did on all three, froze it. All three froze it. So doing this triangular step on all three isn't really too difficult of a task. It's just you want to make sure you don't accidentally smear anything while you're doing this, you know. So just when you're trying new things, I like to tell you guys, be confident in what you're doing. It's okay if things don't always come out the right way, because honestly, I don't know whose inspo pic that is. It's a random picture she got off of Pinterest. She doesn't even use Instagram right now, but she herself said, I feel like you'll do a better job anyways. So once I asked her the key questions, like, what about this do you like? And when she said, I want to follow the inspo, you know, it doesn't have to look exactly the same, but basically I want the bows, I want the outline, I like those triangular pieces. So it was up to me in my head to figure out how I need to do this. And then the last step is to go ahead and do these bows. I mean the bows. Is to go ahead and do these little half circles, okay, for the lacy pieces. Now this is best done after, because now that the bows are in place, we know exactly where they need to fit. Now don't get intimidated by this step. The only thing I would say is, because these are supposed to be really dainty, be careful how much polish that you use, and just be careful the angle of your brush, because when I would go in like a little half circle, you know, flick motion, sometimes the brush would land on an angle and it would thicken. See, like that, it will thicken stuff, and that's not what I wanted. So I will say I did both of the sides, and then I froze it, and then I would do the cuticle and the bottom together, just to make sure that nothing runs into each other. So, you know, let your brain kind of slowly figure things out. I look at everything as, what shapes does it take to make this nail art? I can recognize, okay, number one, an outline. That's just following around the nail. Number two, a bow. Okay, that's kind of like two teardrop or pear shaped things, and two little flicks. Okay, the lace. Oh, those are just half circles. Oh, you know, this is just a triangular piece. So once you break stuff down to a basic, simple level of what shapes or what things can I identify, it will feel less tedious, and it will feel less, hold on, baby, it's not gonna feel less tedious, but it will feel a little bit easier to digest. So as you can see, because other stuff was already dried, anytime I have to erase, I can do so. And then because once we laid the pearls down, glued them down, top coated them, when we go to top coat, we don't even have to worry about gluing around, you know, going too detailed around the pearls. We already did that. So as we're about to top coat, all we need to worry about Ooh, all we need to worry about is making sure the polish is covered. And boom. At first, it looked like, oh, this is looking rough. This is looking a certain way. But as you can see, finger by finger, things have improved. And honestly, what you're looking for with this type of style is a cohesiveness. And you just want everything to visually, if I look at this, is it going to look different? Or is it going to look, you know, all nails are going to look the same? And honestly, we were all shocked. The three of us in that room was pretty shocked at how good it came out, considering I never did it before. So, hey, try something new. You never know. Don't be just saying no to clients just cuz. You know, it helps build your skill level and see what you really know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and as normal. I'll see you guys in the next video.
The greatest nail tech in the universe!